Joined now by David Rothkopf from the Carnegie Endowment, who argues that July 2009 marks the month that President Obama's honeymoon with the American public is over. David, why are you bringing this bad news to the White House?
Well, look, I mean, you could look at it as good news. I mean, the honeymoon lasted till July. That's a long honeymoon. I don't know how long your honeymoon was, but that's a long time for a honeymoon.
No, it really is.
He's had the benefit of good press coverage from around the world, and he's had the benefit of kind of carrying, riding the crest of the wave of his election for a long time. But now we're getting down into the weeds of a lot of different policy issues, and that tends to, get you beyond personalities and into real hard specifics, often specific issues that have bedeviled people for decades.
Well, and you're saying this as someone who has worked in the White House.
Yeah.
And worked in the Clinton White House.
Worked in the Clinton administration.
The White House of another Democrat, although you were also associated with Henry Kissinger along the way on various projects.
Yeah, no, I'm a centrist, which means I've found ways to offend both sides.
Yeah. Let's go through some of the reasons you say that the honeymoon is over. And you say no matter who is president, Kim Jong Il is still nuts.
Right. And well, I mean, and Kim Jong Il is a problem, and he's also kind of a metaphor. He's there. He's been there for a long time, just like the Arab-Israeli problem has been there for a long time, just like nobody's successfully, brought peace and stability to Afghanistan and Pakistan for, millennia. Mm-hmm. And so, Barack Obama may be a fresh breeze in Washington, but around the world that breeze blows pretty softly.
Another reason you list is kissing up to a president who smokes is like kissing an ashtray.
Well, what I was saying is, there were some stories in the past couple of weeks that showed that the press, even in Washington, was starting to get a little tougher with the president. One of them was that they were getting on his case for smoking. Mm-hmm. And it's just, they didn't pick at him for stuff like that for the past 6-12 months. And now they're starting to. And, I don't think at the White House they should take this as anything, seriously wrong. This is the way it works, and they're settling in.
Do you think the press has been too easy on Obama?
Well, I don't know if it's too easy. They've been easier on, I mean, certainly they were easier on him than they were on Bush in his final year. Now, Bush earned the tough time that he got. But, you start being president with all the responsibilities from day one. Mm-hmm. And so this idea of a honeymoon is not really optimal from the perspective of the American people, because the scrutiny needs to start from day one, because the issues are big and the stakes are still high.
But the fact of the matter is, the press, no matter who is president, the press generally gives a president the benefit of the doubt in the early weeks. I remember I was the White House correspondent when Gerald Ford came to the presidency, and I remember we all ran out and ran in, I guess would be the way to say it, and did stories about how he made his own muffins for breakfast, and this went on and on. Then, of course, when he pardoned Nixon, boom,
right? But it's a very similar situation, because Nixon was such a dark cloud over the White House, and the national mood was dragged down. And so when Gerald Ford stepped in, it was a new day. People wanted to embrace the new day. Yeah. And it's worked the same with Reagan and Carter, and it's working the same with Obama and Bush. People were down at the end of the Bush administration, and they wanted something new. And so I think the press was sensing that in their audience.
And do you think that is because the press is partisan, that it likes Democrats more than it likes Republicans? You say, I don't. I think it's just because something new brings a change in press coverage and the way it happens.
Look, I think Fox News was easier on Obama than they will be soon. And I do think people want something new. People are fundamentally optimistic, and for a moment, they want to enjoy the change that they themselves have brought about.
One other reason you list on your list of reasons why the honeymoon is over, you say Hillary's fracture was not the first in the administration.
Well, look, first of all, you got to get everybody in place. This is step one in every administration. Step two in every administration is discovering who doesn't like each other. And, that it's not unique to Obama, but, there are tensions between state and the NSC, or between the NSC and the office of the president, and try as they might to manage those things, history shows those fractures will get worse. you know, and her arm will heal, but they won't.
So what you're saying here is that this is just something that happens. It's not a particularly bad thing. It's just every honeymoon is going to come to an end. The rubber will finally hit the road, and then the president has to deal with the problems that he's been given.
Right, and I think in one sense it's a very good thing, because we do have to move from a campaign mode. We do have to move from the mode where the president is the policy, where being Barack Obama is enough, to starting to get down and to the nuts and bolts of how do you solve the Arab-Israeli issue, or how do you deal with bringing stability to Waziristan, or what can you do about Kim Jong Il? And those things take really down in the dirt, diplomatic slogging, where the president can't do it alone. He needs a team to be out there functioning in a way that they couldn't even have done until now, because not everybody was in place.
All right. Thank you very much, David.